Hey, hey, hey. This is issue 161 of Fantastic Force by Roger Thompson and Rich Fulcher. And we have a decent cover here with the Thing, Benjamin Thing, about to be chomped down by a T-Rex. And I don't mean Mark Bolan. This is by Roger Thompson and Rich Fulcher, and it is continuing the story we began in the previous issue. And we start things off with a splash page of Mr. Fantasticals. One thing that Roger Thompson does seem to be tackling head on, one thing that is very present in his first few issues here, he is wanting to challenge the perception of both Mr. Fantasticals and especially Invisible Wife. Thing and Hume on Fire were getting all the attention. They were the popular ones. They were the two who would always be featured or even have solo stories. And that made it so that the other two members come across as either less good or less interesting. So here is a sequence showing Mr. Fantasticals working out. And this is leading us to his discovery that his stretchy powers seem to be diminishing. His elasticity is in retrograde. He apparently noticed this in a recent issue when he was battling Mr. Doom's servo bots, but I think it's just this bit where he says that he's out of breath. Future issues will give Invisible Wife very prominent displays of power, and a lot of the victories are down to her. It's a good thing. Mr. and Mrs. needed this badly. And we're not sidelining Hume on Fire or Thing to do so. This story actually is mostly focused on Thing, and the subplot is all about Hume on Fire. Mr. Fantasticals has sold ownership of the Fantastic Force brand over to a corporation called Interlocking Technologies. And Hume on Fire, John Fire, he is really not happy about this, and he announces that he is quitting the team forever. A classic Fantastic Force moment is whenever one member of the team announces they are quitting, because it always ends with them coming back at the end of the story. Hume on Fire decides to go off and spend some time in the fifth dimension. And instantly I need to explain what the fifth dimension is. But first, I will show you what it is. It is another dimension filled with Smurfs, and it is shite. The fifth dimension comes from the Silver Age. It is one of those ideas that there are many of in the Silver Age. Big ideas that didn't work, so were left behind. For every dark dimension or negative zone, there are about 3 fifth dimensions. The fifth dimension was in Strange Tales, Hume on Fire's solo stories. I think it was his 3rd issue as the headliner of the series. It was in an issue by Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby, but it was scripted by Stanley Lee's brother. Not one of his many Asian brothers I have given him, but his actual brother, Larry. Basically, whenever Larry was writing, it meant that this was a series that Stanley Lee did not give a monkey's about. Hume on Fire, by chance, discovered this secret, futuristic-ish world. It is as bog standard as they come. Nothing interesting there. They were originally green. They are blue now, but they are green in their first appearance. Another change is it came after this story we're looking at, but the Andy books, the 2000s ones, they made the decision to retcon the nature of this world. It is no longer a dimension. It is another Earth. From the standpoint of trying to organise and rationalise the Marvel Universe as a whole, it is understandable to take a random dimension like this out of play and say that it's part of the multiverse rather than the universe. Believe it or not, there is a lot more to discuss with the fifth dimension. But right now, Hume on Fire is being attacked by the Smurfs because this world is apparently at war with Mr. Fantasticals? Huh? Did I miss a meeting? Mr. Fantasticals? That's right, but it is the Mr. Fantasticals of Earth A. The Mr. Fantasticals who was transformed into the Thing and recently sold out to interrelated technocracies. Now, Hume on Fire is a bit sweet on this world, the fifth dimension, so he decides to help them with their problem. It doesn't hurt that he is a massive horned dog and he has the hots for the princess that lives there. Yeah, back in that original story, there was a princess and it was romance. He fought against an evil warlord on her behalf. And it's so bland. But what doesn't help it at all is that Hume on Fire, fallen in love with an alien woman from a mysterious secret world, was done to far greater effect with Iris West and the Unhumans. Before we are done with the fifth dimension for this issue, I need to explain what happened right before this. Roger Thompson, I consider 160 to be the clean start to his run. That's where you can kinda jump on. Some people even wait a bit longer and suggest 164, which is when Jorge Perez starts drawing it. But Roger Thompson did actually write at least 3 issues before this one. They were wrapping up stories from the last writer, Gary Conman. The first is a mid-story writer change on a Mr. Doom story. And there's some okay stuff with Satan in that one. Then there is a 2-part story which is really there to get Seducer off the team and Invisible Wife back in her place. However, here's where things get a bit important. The bad guy in that story was the warlord from the fifth dimension, Zemu, who is neither related to yesterday's Defenders villain or Captain America's famous Baron enemy. The warlord Smurf attacked Unhuman's land, and that was our story. Fantastic Force had to go and defeat him because the stupid Unhumans were useless. I should show the Thunder Horn, the bad guy's mega weapon, the Thunder Horn. It might get a chuckle or two out of some of you. Warlord Smurf and his Thunder Horn. He's got the Thunder Horn. He's going to blast you with his Thunder Horn. He's going to give you the Thunder Horn. And on the topic of giving people the horn, the princess even appeared in that story, and she snogged on with Human Fire. And that is likely the only reason that Human Fire even remembered her in this one. 2 stories in a row making use of the 5th dimension after well over a decade of no use of it at all might make you think that it is going to have a heavy prominence in the run that follows, but it doesn't. After this story, Human Fire thinks about the princess once when he is thinking about all the women that he's banged, and that is it. Maybe that is the real reason people elect to start at issue 164, because the 5th dimension is done with after this, and it is the only thing maybe requiring you to read the previous story. Over on Earth A, our Thing is teaming up with that world's Benjamin Thing and Invisible Wife. Neither of them have powers in this world, but, well, here is the big dinosaur as seen on the cover. Our premise is worlds at war. We have Earth A, we have the 5th dimension, we have the main Earth, and then we have John Carter's world. I said last time, it's ambitious. I don't think Roger Thompson pulls it off entirely, but there is something to respect here, and it is a tremendously important bit of canon for establishing the multiverse, really. Thing, he defeats the Dino, and we have a part that is likely to have caused much confusion among the readers, because we find out on Earth A that Nelson Rockefeller is the president. He is also the president on the Justice League Earth. And I reckon some people might have taken this to mean that Earth A is also the Justice League Earth. But it isn't. Maybe Roger Thompson wanted that to be the case. I don't know. But it isn't. Thing, however, is betrayed by his Earth A counterpart. I kind of like the twist that Benjamin Thing inherently trusted him because he was himself. But I don't think it's really done that well. It is a chance for me to show this, though. This is the Thing mini-mate. Well, the one I have. Jason Bourne costume Thing. But what's special about it is if you start taking off all the add-on parts, pop the arms off and then the chest off, then you pop that off, And these little bicep bits, they're actually very hard to remove. The legs are much easier to do than the arms. And then coming back to this, they give you this alternate crotch piece. Just port the parts over to that. You can see things starting to take shape now. With some parts that it came with added on, we have Benjamin Thing. It is literally a Marvel 2-in-1. This is a bit of a stopgap issue, a middle of the story issue. It has been to mainly set up the fifth dimension and their part in this saga. On this, our final page, we see Human Fire joining forces with the fifth dimension army. And we see on their cattle prod thing, Brandon, which is Roger Thompson really flexing his brain to try and come up with another company name with the same initials. Interpolitan Thermodynamics. So that was Fantastic Force issue 161 by Roger Thompson and Rich Fulcher. A story about life and love and what it means to be a man in the 20th century. I've got to give it 7 thumbs up.